Before we move on with this masterclass, we need to pause and ask ourselves, where are we going to use estimates in the whole life cycle of our project? We've discussed this briefly earlier. We've said that it's going to be part of our planning process. We're going to use it as part of sprint planning, and then we're going to use it in status reporting. But let's try to zoom that picture in so that you get a sense of how you're going to use these. So first things first, the planning workshop, we already talked about this. We talked about how you would go ahead and categorize stuff as small, medium, large, do that coarse grain estimation, and then come to some fine grain estimates. So at this point, you get your first estimate, which is large in nature. And after that, you move into iterative delivery where you're executing multiple sprints. Now, in the middle of the sprints, you're going to have estimates just prior to when you start playing the story, because that's when you start fleshing out the story. You have more details around its implementation. Now, that first estimate that you generate, it has a purpose. It helps you make plans and limits. The second estimate that you generate helps you verify the plan. Now, the first estimate is based solely on assumptions. The second estimate, on the other hand, is when you have all implementation details. You probably have mock-ups, you probably have more notes, you probably have acceptance criteria, you've probably also discussed test cases of the team. So if all the assumptions are the same, your estimate is probably going to remain the same. If your assumptions, change, then your estimates better change, which could mean that, well, the story is far less complex than you thought it was, in which case you should revise the estimate down, and vice versa. So, if all of this is happening over a large duration of time, because, well, you could have your initial planning workshop, say in the month of January, and you'll probably get to some of the stories from that workshop down the line in July. And if that is the case, then there's a lot of time that elapses. And you can't only rely on your memory or your team's memory about what was the discussion you had when you attached a 5 point story into the backlog. So your help in this case is going to be all the notes that you make. And so if I had to make 3 rules about making sense of estimates, then they would be make notes, make notes, make notes. That's your mantra as a product owner. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you in the next episode where we'll discuss some aspects of estimation and planning to take this masterclass forward.